like screw this.
Yeah.
Like
we were getting real close to just being like next week, guys.
The weariness was
next week
was setting in. All right, we should be at 1920 by 1080. We should be at 30 frames per second. Bitrate looks okay. We should now be streaming to YouTube as well. Hello YouTube, and hello Twitch, and hello everyone who's watching. This is Awesome Hardware. It is a live show, and we've been on hiatus for like a month. We had Christmas, we had a little Christmas break for the holidays. I got sick, and then it was CES, and now we're back. We almost weren't back because technical difficulties to start off the show today. XSplit sucks now, although it still remains our best option for dual streaming, as we usually do every week, the show to both Twitch and YouTube. So we seem to have it functional now. If there's a delay or anything like that, we're sorry, we can't do anything about it. We're already about a half an hour late starting the show today, so
we're doing the best we can.
Kicking off 2018 on just a great note with a late start and all that. But we've just recently returned from Las Vegas, Nevada. We did some CES coverage out there.
Las Vegas.
Available on both of our channels if you guys haven't already checked it out.
Thank God we're back.
Really glad to be back.
8 days in Vegas is too much for anyone.
It was a long time in Vegas. And quick disclaimer to start the show: we do drink some beer. Occasionally, we say bad words and foul language, adult talk. It's only you really completely negate the purpose of doing. That's all right.
It's setting them up to know what kind of show this really is.
I know, but I just we might as well not do a disclaimer.
If they didn't believe us, now they do.
That's true.
That's the thing.
It has been proven. Also, if you guys are interested, please check out our stores, and you can buy stuff. PulseHardware.net is my store. I got some mouse pads, some hoodies, some mugs, bottle openers, keycaps, all great stuff. Also, over on Kyle's store, bitwit.tech/store, you can buy stuff there too. It's all very nice things. It's shipped to you straight from Vermont. And
if you get something from both of our stores during this show, we'll yell Johnson at you.
Indeed, we will.
Double Johnson, actually.
We'll continue. Yeah, if you buy from both.
Yeah, either if you buy just from one of our stores, you get a single Johnson. Two stores, double Johnson. I've forgotten how this show works. It's been so long since we streamed.
I feel it feels kind of fresh though.
Yeah,
it feels like it's new again.
It's like a brand new show.
So that's
we should have just started it back at episode 1.
Yeah.
Welcome to episode 1.
Speaking of this being a brand new show, for reasons I'm not going to delve into, I do not have a great amount of preparation for today's show.
Reasons.
No, we're not going into that. But I do have some tech news to talk about, so we're going to dive into that.
Cool.
We're going to talk a little bit about GPU prices, although more on that on Kyle's half of the show. I was going to talk about Bitcoin, because, man, Bitcoin had a rough day today. Got the GTX 1050 Ti Max Q, and then some Jellyfish RAM, because that's also very exciting.
Jellyfish RAM.
But let's get started with the first thing. Wait, did we do everything we usually do? Beginning of the show. Here, you're out of beer.
Oh, yeah, I am.
There's no more.
No. We have, you know what? Can I crack the bottle open of...
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know how you guys enjoyed your holiday season and stuff last year, but I enjoyed mine a lot, and we celebrate Christmas and stuff. One of my cousins, actually on Wifey Sauce's side, brews their own beer. Actually, a couple of my cousins do. They're brothers, and they brew their own beer with their dad, and it's really good. And this is actually their beer that they brewed, Cinnamama? I don't know. Grandmama. I'm not exactly sure what it's called, but
it's a spicy grandma.
Yeah, and it's a sweet.
I think the point they're trying to.
It's a sweet stout, and I'm gonna drink it right now. I've been dying to drink this beer for a very long time, so very excited for it.
It's also got the actual wax, like they dipped it in wax to seal it.
Yeah,
makes
apparently.
It feel very. Is that gonna work?
Yeah, you just gotta dig under the wax. I'm not very good with bottles. All right, let's get a knife.
I'm nervous.
Wait, I have a razor.
Oh, good.
I'm better. I'm much.
It's a sharp edge.
Yeah.
If
the guy can't handle.
I see the direction you're cutting that in.
Give the guy who can't handle bottles a razor sharp blade.
You're supposed to cut towards the body, like
towards the body,
preferably at neck level. I think is.
Wait, what?
I'm kidding.
No, that's what I was thinking. I was cutting it away from my head. But then it's also kind of towards you if I were to just like,
Yeah,
you know?
that's why I backed up.
Wait, so I don't know how to... I've never actually... Hold on. I'm just gonna shave it off a little bit.
All right.
This is why we were late. I was trying to open a bottle.
That's
It's all
sure.
clear now.
Yeah, that's also that contributed.
But
That's definitely contributing.
No, the brew.
Oh, good, you got it.
The brew kit, the brew setup that they have is pretty insane. They have like the giant tanks. They like converted an entire garage just for their home brew system. It looks like Breaking Bad in there, so they know what they're doing for the most part. Let's go ahead and pour some.
We'll give this a shot.
You can go ahead and keep rambling, Paul, while I
Thank
pour
you
some
to
beer.
your bootlegger relatives.
Yep.
All right, let's
beautiful.
start off with the story number 1 here. Bitcoin. Oh my gosh. They just have a picture of a guy committing suicide. Is that what this is? On this?
So dark.
If
Ars Technica.
if we learn nothing from Logan Paul, Bitcoin has plunged though. It's had a really rough day.
Even Paul's commenting on the Logan
I know.
Paul
I can't
controversy.
get away from it. Down 47% from back in December when all the Bitcoin miners were all super excited. Look, it's so bad that CoinDesk doesn't even want to load for me and give me what the actual price is right now. Right now,
It's
CoinDesk.
like, I don't know, I'm kind of nervous to
really,
show. It's nervous. It's literally pacing back and forth. That's how nervous it is to show you what Bitcoin pricing is right now.
Will not load at all.
like,
So I wanted to show you actual prices, but it dropped as low as 10,300 today. Last I checked, just before the show started, it rebounded just slightly. It was at 11,500, but that's down. That's down pretty significantly. That's 25% drop over the last 24 hours. Down 47% from the high back in December of $19,500. And in fact, this is across the board for every major cryptocurrency right now. It has suffered double-digit losses over the past 24 hours. Ethereum down 28%. Bitcoin Cash down 31%. Litecoin down 29%. Dash down 24%. Monero's down 30%. It's a massacre out there.
Do we know what causes these huge drops?
Not specifically. I mean, there's varying factors. If you want to talk about the drop in general right now, it's probably due to a bit of a bubble. I mean, whether it's a bubble and how much of a bubble and all that kind of talk is speculative, and I don't know that much more than the next person. But here, the big climb that it made, November, December, end of 2017. This is a bubble, and this is people who don't know anything about cryptocurrency mining, who just see something that's of value, trading on Wall Street, whatever. Like, hey, it's a valuable thing, and it's getting more valuable. I should buy that and wait for it to be more valuable, and then sell it. So you had a bubble, and then you have people selling stuff, and that's how it goes. Now, we could also blame Jay. It's very possible to just blame Jay.
It's all Jay's fault.
Jay posted a video earlier today.
He's a dickhole.
Very critical of cryptocurrency mining.
Yep.
Market crashes. And that's just what. See.
God damn it, Jay.
We can just blame Jay.
Stop it, Jay.
That's another possibility.
I gotta be up all night.
Of course, there's lots of factors that influence the market. We have to realize that at the core of everything, whether you're talking about Bitcoin, any other cryptocurrency, or just the cash that you have in your wallet, it's all just made up. It only has any value because we agree that it has value.
That's true.
And so Bitcoin becomes more valuable when more people think it has more value.
It's like real money.
And then people start thinking maybe it's not as valuable as it was, and then it starts losing value. Isn't the stock market fun?
We should all just be like Jay and just tell people what to think about.
There's
everything.
Yeah. Well, it's a great business. It's a great business model.
We should give them our 2 cents.
Yeah.
How about that?
I mean, when it comes down to it, there is value to some degree in cryptocurrency. I appreciate cryptocurrency because it's decentralized. There's no World Bank or something, some shady group of individuals who are somehow have some invisible hand and everything.
Yeah.
Granted, there are Bitcoin influencers who have massive farms who in the past, especially going back to like the 2013, 2014 timeframe, have been accused of influencing the market to significant degrees, like when it originally went from the couple $100 all the way up to $1,000. Lots to be discussed there, but nothing that we have the depth to go into further for today's show. All this is to say that Bitcoin lost a lot of value today, so if you have a lot of Bitcoin, then you lost some money. Sorry about that.
You suck.
Maybe it'll bounce back.
It probably will.
There's articles going around today about some dude who's like, hey, it's going to be worth 100K. And maybe that'll happen. Yeah. This is not, did we mention this is not a show where you should come to get financial advice?
No.
All right.
We are not liable.
Over on WCCF Tech, we have a little bit of news about video cards. Video cards suck right now. They're so expensive. So expensive. Like, We went to CES and video cards like doubled in price across the board. Cheap
I
ones,
came back home and I was like,
everything.
What?
It's absolutely horrible.
My brother-in-law asked me yesterday. He was like, "Hey, I'm looking to build a workstation PC for like video editing and graphic design." He's like, "My budget's like $1,200. I was wondering if you could like build me a parts list." And I was like, "Sure." So like I got home, it was like 9 p.m. and I was like, went on PC Part Picker. It's really good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job. Awesome. Good job, Brandon, Dylan. You guys did awesome. I was like, "Oh, you know what? For $1,200, you can get a GTX 1070." I was like, "We could probably fit a 1070 in there." And I looked at the prices and I was like, "What happened?"
Yeah, they're like $700 right now.
What the hell happened? They were like almost the price of a 1080 Ti.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. That's the first time I had checked GPU prices since before we left for Vegas, which was like 10 days ago.
Yeah, we're literally in its time just right now. Like we're hoping, some of the people we talked to at CES, like EVGA, said that they have a bunch more coming in. So when new cards come in, hopefully there'll be a dip in price, or at least maybe a brief period of time where you can get them for at MSRP or at least close to it. But yeah, it's very challenging to be in a situation where you try to encourage people to build their own computer, because right now your best option is to go to a boutique or buy a complete system, because those you can still get the whole systems. Like it takes them longer to like increase in price, and there's less
because they already have a bunch of stock.
And you got to buy the whole system. So boutique builders and complete builds is like the best option right now when it comes to value for your money.
That's crazy to say that. I mean,
that's true. It's really weird, but
crazy times.
Anyway, somewhat related, just because it's a GPU, is a 1050 Ti Max Q. This is a design that just leaked out. Just the fact that it exists was leaked in a changelog for Linux when they're updating their Linux display driver. It was a 1050 and 1050 Ti Max Q design. This is different because in the past NVIDIA has limited Max Q. They've established a standard of performance. So Max Q notebooks up till now have only included GTX 1070s and GTX 1080s. But they're apparently working on a 1050 Ti Max Q version, which is probably going to mean that it's like really power efficient. So like you're going to get okay gaming performance, because granted it's a 1050 or 1050 Ti, but like at really limited or minimal impact to battery life on a notebook, which is useful for a notebook, especially if you want to game on the go or something like that. This is also probably going to compete with the Kaby Lake G lineup of CPUs that recently announced that are going to have RX Vega in them, RX Vega MGL chips to be specific. And then WCCF Tech speculates, and I think this is based on the original article, which came from videocards.com, that the clock speeds are going to be in the 1417 megahertz to 1450 megahertz, so in the mid 1400s. And that translates to a theoretical graphics performance of 2.18 teraflops. And granted, you cannot always directly compare teraflop numbers between different GPU families, but that should make it at least somewhat competitive with what AMD's rolling out. So for you laptop users who like to game on the go and maybe looking for a nice, reasonably powered laptop, maybe that's a good option for you.
Yeah.
And hey, laptops aren't really affected by the GPU, all the GPU prices, right? So,
true.
There you go.
Did we know if it's a 1050 Ti, like it's a full desktop version of it, or it's the mobile version, right? I
mean, like what they did,
own.
I would expect it to be a roughly the same part when it comes to CUDA cores and that kind of thing. Like that's what they said about the 1070 and 1080. They're like, this is the full actual GTX 1070.
Yeah.
You know, with the same amount of memory and everything like that. The fact is, they can't run at the same frequency. They're going to run 300-400 megahertz slower because of the amount of power it's used and the amount of heat that can be dissipated in a very small area in a laptop.
Yeah.
So that's what I would expect. Probably the same actual GPUs. Whether they're going to package them actually on a substrate with the chip, like I don't know if they're going that way or that kind of thing. That's a question. That would be a good way to make a better implementation for a Max-Q classified laptop, because you can fit everything in there in a smaller package. But that's just speculation there. So
yeah.
I
think at least the 1050 Ti would be, if they had to downclock it, it probably would be like they probably wouldn't have to downclock the 1050 Ti as much as like a 1060 or 1070, right? Because it already runs fairly cool.
Already very power efficient
as a desktop part. Yeah, and it's power efficient too. So you might actually be getting, closer to the real desktop part with the 1050 Ti than you would like a 1070 Max-Q, for example.
Yeah,
you wouldn't have to cut it down
reasonable.
as much.
Probably won't have too much overclocking headroom, but it depends on the laptop. I mean, different manufacturers can make different laptops. There's no set standard. Like NVIDIA has to approve and say yes, this can be Max-Q. But they have to be really thin, but there's no exact specification for thinness.
Right.
So
case by case basis.
You could have a situation where you have a better cooling unit and then it can run the GPU faster.
Yeah.
Something like that, but maybe it's a little bit thicker.
Thick.
Anyway. All right, let's move on. Don't you guys use BitTorrent? I use BitTorrent Sync, Resilio.
Yeah, me too.
But this is for users of BitTorrent in general, and very specifically if you use the Transmission BitTorrent app.
It's like for downloading movies.
Downloading
basically the kind of BitTorrent that you don't
freely
want
distributed content on the internet, which clearly is not copyrighted or anything like that, and definitely is not hacked programs or apps or anything like that. But if you use BitTorrent, you should be aware of a flaw that was recently made public in the BitTorrent, specifically the Transmission BitTorrent app, but the article indicates that it might be something that that could possibly affect other software based on the BitTorrent protocol as well. So this is a critical weakness in the Transmission app. It allows websites to execute malicious code on some users' computers. The researcher who discovered this is named Tavis Ormandy. He's with Google's Project Zero vulnerability reporting team, most recently made famous for their surfacing of Spectre and Meltdown. Normally, Project Zero withholds publication of such details for 90 days or until the developer has released a fix. In this case, however, Ormandy's private report to Transmission included a patch that completely fixed the vulnerability. So not only was he like, hey, you guys, there's a flaw in your software, a security flaw, but here's the patch to fix it. But and he ended up releasing he ended up disclosing the vulnerability last Tuesday, only 40 days after the initial report, because Transmission developers had yet to apply it. So he gave them over a month. He's like, hey guys, here's the security flaw, here's the patch. Waited over a month, 40 days, they did nothing. So he's like, all right, I'm just gonna make this public, because if someone else found out about it, who was maybe a black hat, hacker or something like that, they could do something malicious. It's also a way of pushing that company to be like, now it's public, so you better patch it if you want to maintain customers and faith in your software and that kind of thing. It's a proof of concept. The proof of concept attack that Ormandy put together exploits a transmission function that allows users to control the BitTorrent app with their web browser, and it uses a hacking technique known as domain name system rebinding. The most immediate consequences are for Transmission's users, as already mentioned, but the dangers of DNS rebinding are broadly applicable to people using a wide range of apps. So if you're using BitTorrent software, maybe check the forums of that software, see if there's any discussion of this, see if there's any updates. Just make sure you patch and keep yourself safe. Speaking of keeping yourself safe,
cool.
This kind of dropped just before we went to Computex, and there was lots of news in the past week about it. But Intel's Spectre and Meltdown, critical flaws in some fundamental functionality of the way CPUs work. Intel particularly susceptible to both Spectre and Meltdown, and so they have been working on patches. And when it comes to patches, there's software patches. So if you've gotten a Windows update in the past week, there's a decent chance it was dealing with these vulnerabilities to some degree. But there's also BIOS updates that will actually update the microcode in your CPU. And in order to be completely safe from these, you're gonna want to do both. However, the BIOS fixes that Intel has released, at least as of 4 days ago, have been causing crashes on Broadwell and Haswell-based systems. So increased crashes, it's not like apparently the system just doesn't work or whatever, but Intel has issued a statement confirming that BIOS patches for the for the Spectre vulnerability are causing crashes on Broadwell and Haswell systems. Customers have reported higher system reboots, which is the safe way of saying crashes, after applying the updates, affecting Broadwell Core i3, i5, and i7 5000 series on the mobile side, Haswell Core i3, i5, and i7 4000 series on the desktop and mobile side, so your 4770Ks and whatnot. They weren't specific about Broadwell Lee and whether it's affected, so potentially Core i7 6000 series on the desktop as well. And then, as mentioned, if you want to protect yourself from these, you're going to want to get a BIOS update. You definitely want to get a BIOS update for whatever computers that you use soon. I tried to do a quick bit of additional research right before we started, but again, I was limited on time today to see if there were further updates on this. So definitely going to want to keep your eyes on the news. A little bit more on this on Kyle's half as well. But once you see that your motherboard manufacturer or your laptop manufacturer has issued an update, an actual BIOS update, I would just check and see, make sure it's functioning properly, because you obviously don't want to deal with a bunch of crashes like this, especially if it's a system that you use for work or something like that. But yeah, hopefully within the next couple weeks, we'll have both the software and the hardware side set up, at least for Meltdown. Spectre has potentially more long-term effects.
Did you download the Intel BIOS update?
I haven't done any actual BIOS updates yet.
Okay.
This is the type of thing I haven't had time, just because was gone at CES, and also waiting to make sure the BIOS updates are stable, because there's also the potential for them to affect performance, depending on use case of your computer and that kind of thing.
Intel didn't bundle their BIOS update in a Windows update, right?
No,
like
they can't do that.
It's separate. Like you have to go to their like an Intel website.
You'll have to get Intel will distribute the BIOS. Intel, working on the fixes, will work with their hardware partners like MSI, Gigabyte, Asus to implement to include the microcode update for the CPU as part of a BIOS update. So you'll download the BIOS update from your motherboard manufacturer's website, or potentially if you have a laptop, your laptop manufacturer's website. Maybe put that on an external USB or something. There's various ways to update your BIOS.
Right.
Update that. That should patch your CPU microcode in order to make you, I don't want to say immune, but much less vulnerable than you would have been beforehand. But obviously there's this is a work in progress. All this stuff came out within the past week and a half to 2 weeks, and there's lots of potential issues. They're trying to do this in such a way to minimize impact on actual performance and that kind of thing as well. So yeah, hopefully we'll bring more to you on this next week, and we'll sort of let you know our feel on the situation. Also, once we've been able to sort of take a deep breath and get past the getting back from Vegas and Computex and everything. I never feel like the holiday season is over until Computex is over.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I need like a week to just recover and yeah. Anyway. All right.
Yeah.
Jellyfish RAM.
Jellyfish rant?
RAM. Jellyfish.
Oh, I was like, why are we ranting about jellyfish now?
Well, because it's
but
jellyfish.
But now that you've clarified,
I can rant about that. All right.
But now that you've clarified, what the hell is jellyfish?
I want to clarify at the beginning of this story that it should not be called Jellyfish RAM.
Oh.
And A-Data, if you're watching, need to change the name of this. It should be Sea Jellies.
Sea jellies?
Sea Jellies, yes.
Why sea jellies?
Because as I learned very recently from one of my sisters, who brought this up for no apparent reason, a jellyfish is sort of a misnomer, because a jellyfish is not really a fish. It's not fish-shaped. It's not the same type of organism as a fish. It's not in the same class or whatever. Same thing with sea stars or starfish. Starfish are now sea stars because it's a star and it's not a fish.
It's a sea star.
So sea jelly is more accurate and appropriate than jellyfish.
That makes sense.
And yeah, no, I was initially very hesitant to agree to this as well myself. Yeah. I was like, no, it's a jellyfish. I've learned a jellyfish. I grew up with that.
This is what my
it's
parents
established
told
in my
me.
mind. But once it was explained to me, I was like, all right, yeah, that kind of makes sense.
It's not a fish.
It's a jellyfish. It looks like it's like a flying saucer with tentacles on the bottom or something like that, right? There's
nothing fish about it.
There's no dorsal fin.
I think that's kind of fishy.
Gills or anything. Yeah, you're right.
Call them jellyfish.
Very skeptical of that. Anyway, point is,
XPG.
The XPG series has a jellyfish project from A-Data. And this is it. All right, so obviously it's got RGB LEDs on it. We should clarify that right from the beginning. There are still RGB LEDs on this, but in an attempt to perhaps differentiate themselves or just try something a little bit new, A-Data had this concept memory, this concept DRAM. They were showing it off at CES, and this article's from Anantech. They went over and checked it out. If you look at this video, look, there's liquid. You can see the liquid.
What?
Yeah, there's liquid inside the memory.
It's actually touching the modules?
Yeah, they're using a sealed clear plastic case around the memory chips, and then they're filling it with a non-conductive liquid, in this case 3M Novec Fluorinert, which is a synthetic chemical that's created by 3M. It's liquid at room temperature, but can eventually change state into gas and rise. I'm guessing at probably a lower temperature than normal water, just perhaps.
3M, the same ones that make the adhesive.
Yeah, they make adhesives and chemicals and all that kind of stuff. Very, very, very trustworthy company.
Interesting.
But yeah, so when you have a phase change, when you change from liquid to gas, it requires a lot of energy. So the energy being the heat that's generated by the memory modules, transferred into liquid, changes phase, and then it cools down. There has to be some sort of dissipation. I'm not sure how it dissipates through the plastic as shown in the video there, whatever, but whatever cools down goes back to liquid, and you have almost like a little vapor chamber to some.
Do you see gas inside of the module?
That was I was kind of disappointed in with the video, because the video just briefly shows this demo unit with the water on it, or with the liquid in there, but I'm not seeing it in action. Right? There's this picture up here with lights on it, but yeah, I'm not sure if it's actually functional working or whatever. But I don't know. I guess it's one of those kind of proof of concept ideas that AData has actually produced.
Does this phase change actually help performance at all, or thermals, or is it just for show?
I mean, the idea is to cool it more effectively, so I would hope that if they're going this far to create this, that they're seeing some sort of results that indicate that it's viable. But who knows? Maybe it's just one of those random CES things where they're like, hey, we made jellyfish RAM.
Why do you need to cool your memory anyway for 99.9% of scenarios?
Because then you can overclock it more. That's usually the reason. The fluid they're using inside this, apparently there was sort of, back when mineral oil cooled PCs were starting to become something that people were aware of as a thing, they started looking like, well, what other liquids could we use? As long as it's a non-conductive liquid, you could put it in a PC. So there actually have been attempts in the past to use the same liquid to like completely cool a PC or whatever, but it's expensive. In fact, it has probably become more expensive. According to the article, $300 per gallon was what it used to cost, and we're not sure if that's imperial or metric, by the way. But AData says that it is now about $100 per liter, which would be a little bit more than what it cost back in the day. But there's not much required to put into each memory module, but obviously if it's that expensive, it would potentially increase the cost some. Also, is a problem that they're not completely full, so if you put it vertically in a case, like the top module might not be getting cooled. So obviously there's some kinks to work out, but although it is in the early stages of development, the AData XPG C Jelly RAM is very, very exciting.
I don't know.
Or maybe not.
I don't know about that.
Or perhaps it's not exciting at all.
Seems weird.
I want a full liquid cooling loop, though. I mean, it'd be cool if your liquid cooling, because they make memory that you can put a little. They put some side pins on and like a unified block at the top that's supposed to absorb the heat, and you can do a water cooling loop through it or whatever. It would be interesting to have something where like the liquid in your loop actually goes through the memory, like alongside.
Like if there was a G and a 1/4 inch fitting on either side of the module.
Well, you'd have to put it in a block of 4 and have to have like 2 of them, but then it would like split out into 4 and like go through it. I mean, that would be cool looking at least.
That at least sounds a bit more functional because you have radiators now cooling that liquid, right? Instead of just some like invisible vapor chamber thing that they're trying to make.
I'm hoping AData goes through with that.
Memory's already expensive enough. We don't need to make it more expensive.
Maybe just lower NAND.
Some fancy modules that might
to a reasonable
fancy
level, and then we can move on.
Cooling methods. All
right. Let's talk about the FCC a little bit. The fight for net neutrality is far from over. More actually on net neutrality on Kyle's half of the show. But real quickly, as predicted, we specifically said that they were going to try to do this. They have a plan to tell you that you have okay broadband, and they're going to tell you that based on the fact that they're lowering the standards for what broadband is and what qualifies as broadband. The article here from Ars Technica specifically calls out this mobile-only challenge, and this is a response to the FCC's potential proposed measures, which is to tell people to try going mobile only. Only use the data on your cell phone. Never connect to Wi-Fi. and see how you do. Whether you have a data cap, whether you're satisfied with the speeds, whether you have anything of reasonable size to possibly download or not. See if you're okay with the FCC telling you that, hey, as long as you've got a mobile connection, as long as you're covered by your 4G or whatever, that's okay. We don't need to worry about compelling internet service providers to roll out broadband in your area, fiber or cable or anything that's of a reasonable bandwidth. The standard that they're talking about is 10 megabit down and 1 megabit up. They may soon declare that America's broadband deployment problem is solved as long as everyone has access to either fast home internet or cellular or, big keyword, or cellular internet service with speeds of at least 10 megabits per second. The current policy, the one that they're going by now, is that you should have access to both mobile data and fast home internet services such as fiber or cable, at least 25 megabits per second.
Why not both? Which
is significantly faster than 10 megabits per second. And very key difference if you're talking about streaming like 4K video. The difference from 10 to 25 is significant.
Megabits per second?
Yeah, if you're looking at anything that has reasonable density, and especially if you're doing anything else on your home network that also requires network traffic. 25 megabits per second down and 3 megabits per second up is the current standard. I'd like to see that uplink increased.
Yeah.
But never mind that. They're talking about decreasing both of them. The new notice suggests 10 megabits per second download speeds and 1 megabits per second upload speeds is sufficient, and you only need a wireless connection in order to do that. Because, like if you want to hop on and play some video games, right? Let me just tether to my phone real quick because that's super convenient. And fast. And
when I get home, Wifey Sauce and I are gonna fire up, a big bag of popcorn, turn the lights down, and then we're just gonna watch Gangs of New York on our phone.
Yeah, that's what everyone looks forward to at the end of the night. So if you guys, I don't know how much this media campaign is gonna catch on mobile only or whatever, but feel free to give it a shot. Try and mobile only all for a day.
I shouldn't try it because I have really good mobile plan. It's unlimited.
Yeah, well,
unlimited 4G, and there's no throttling once you get past a certain point.
So you're lucky. That's actually a decent plan.
Yeah,
but
I am lucky. But not everyone has that.
Yep. All right, moving on. Last news story before we move on to some questions is WPA3. Hooray, WPA3.
Whoopa 3!
They're talking about improving Wi-Fi security by rolling out this new standard. The Wi-Fi Alliance is the governing body who handles this sort of thing.
Sounds like a funny
The Wi-Fi
name.
Alliance.
We are the Wi-Fi Alliance.
Well, they have to combat the evil Wi-Fi, the Imperial Wi-Fi.
Imperial Wi-Fi scum.
I don't know.
Either.
Anyway, which I assume involves
douchebags.
this lady here. There's just text in the story. Come on, ZDNet. Give me an image besides your crappy autoplay video with sound.
Pictures.
Anyway, though, so Apple, Microsoft, Qualcomm, and other industry leaders, part of the Wi-Fi Alliance, announced on Monday the next generation wireless network security standard, WPA3, which will replace WPA2, which is almost 2 decades old now. Crazy to think about. I remember back in the day when people had WEP or WPA1.
The whip.
Encryption, be like, no, you switched to WPA2. But it's showing its age now, being about 20 years old, and it's going to help. They have key improvements for WPA3 though, which are aiming to solve some common security problems with current standard. Open Wi-Fi networks being one of them. They've become much more common, whether you're over at your local Starbucks or your friend's house with Wi-Fi or an airport or whatever, because WPA2 doesn't have individualized data encryption and WPA3 will. That means that the encryption, that the data between your device and whatever router that you're connected to that has WPA3 will be encrypted from your device to that router, and then it's sent off over the internet based on that it's free. Anyone can access it. No, hopefully you have encryption from end to end as well. But just from your device to the router, that's a big improvement that will help a lot of people from spying on wireless data in public network scenarios. This is also going to protect against brute force dictionary attacks, which is useful. It's also going to block an attacker after too many failed password guesses. So people actually trying to hack into your router, that kind of thing. That's useful. And it's listing, it's not specific here, but it says there's a newer kind of handshake to securely allow new devices with pre-shared password onto the network. The WPA2 had a 4-way handshake that it used for that. WPA3 does not say, but because it's secret. It's secret. It's still got a main. I guess it's either a secret or it's just too technical for the ZDNet article to go into. But point being, more secure. WPA3. Yes, everyone needs to buy new routers.
I wonder how soon that they're going to be launching routers with that.
I don't know. They announced it today, so I'd expect products to be available sometime this year. I don't know.
Yeah.
Usually, I don't know. If you look at this is less of a security thing and more of a bandwidth thing. But like if you're looking like 802.11, AC to like AX, like those standards. Usually, companies have devices already coming out based on the standards before the standards are even finalized. Might be different with the security protocol, though. I'm not really sure. But there it is, WPA3.
Sweet.
Everyone buy new routers. All right. That is all I've got for today for my stories. Of course, we got a little bit more to talk about on Kyle's half of the show. I'm just going to wrap things up with a bit of Q&A. So if you guys have had questions... Oh, actually, we've had some questions posted in chat, so we're going to go over those. Thanks to all of you guys who have done some donations.
Let's do it.
Much obliged.
Scott Dilbeck.
Also, thanks to Sel for being our moderator and gathering all these.
Scott Dilbeck, $20. Missed awesome hardware, ladies. And hope your holidays were great. And let's make 2018 great and make lots of memories or monies. Paul finished the HTPC.
Yes, Scott.
New Year's resolution for Paul.
I will. No, it's already
automatic.
It's already in progress.
It's in the chamber.
I'm working on it right now with my feet.
Gonna fire it off in all your faces. Yep. Thanks, Scott. Tom's Bremsmitz. I've read that name 1,000 times and it still trips me up every time I say it. It's like a really short tongue twister.
50 Norwegian krona.
50 Norwegian krona. Finally back. How are you both after CES? Am I the only one who thought the CES was a bit boring? Also, what is your top three moments from CES? We are both tired after being back from CES. Yep. No, you're not the only one who thought CES was a little bit dry in terms of new product releases and such. And top three moments from CES. Coming home.
Coming home.
That wasn't that terrible.
When I won like how much? I won like $100 and something playing blackjack.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's right. I was there.
Yeah, that was like the last gambling I did all week, by the way.
Me too.
Yeah, really?
I mean, I think I like later that night, but that was the last.
Because you were like on fire for it for a while. Kyle was like, gotta gamble,
and I lost it all.
But then so I won some money gambling and.
Ooh, I went to Bacchanal.
Oh, you did?
I went to Bacchanal the last day. Bacchanal's the #1 buffet in hotel. Or, no, #1 buffet in Vegas. At the Caesar's Palace Hotel. Go there. It's transcendental.
I don't know. Like I was kind of getting over being sick all week and stuff. So, it wasn't the best CES.
It was just, they didn't have a lot of... I mean, NZXT came out with a motherboard. That was interesting.
Yeah, that was like, kind of unexpected.
But apart from just a couple random... surprises, we're kind of in the middle of some big silicon launches, I think. So not even motherboard vendors were really ready for like X470, for example, for the new second gen Ryzen chips.
Yeah, I was expecting to see more of those after AMD made their announcement, but Gigabyte was the only one who had one.
Yep. Yeah.
All right.
Computex.
We'll have lots more. Gratz
Studios. $10. Sup from Monroe, Michigan. I built a Z270 PC with a 1080 Ti because of your Build With Me video.
Nice.
First PC I've ever built. Turned out great. Thanks, Kyle. Looking forward to new content from both of you. Awesome. Sweet. I'm glad you liked that build video, or that tutorial, that it helped you. And good luck with your future PC.
I agree. Me too.
With your current PC in the future. Thanks.
Happy Reviews.
$5.
Happy New Year, guys. My Tuesday evenings have been boring during your brief hiatus. Glad you guys are back and doing well. Cheers from El Jefe. El Jefe, cheers right back to you.
We are the reason that you exist.
We're glad to be back. Just getting things started off in 2018 with a slow roll.
I got sort of just sad. Like I got sort of like a postpartum depression You know, after we hadn't done Awesome Hardware for so long.
Oh, really?
I was like, I missed that show. I think someone came up to me while I was at CES, like a fan, random fan. Dude, I love Awesome Hardware. Awesome Hardware's so fun. I watch it every week. And I was like, yeah, we haven't done it in like 3 weeks. I'm like, I miss it too.
Yeah, no, it's very. It's
we
like,
just started crying on each other.
It's such a standard.
It is. It really is.
We're
the best. The Reicheneck Tendara issue with Corsair Light Node or Lighting Node, plugged-in power strips and everything, but for some reason it's not working. I don't know if it's a firmware thing or something. Cannot find a decent installation video. Please help. Corsair Lighting Node.
I have not even touched the Lighting Node at this point.
That's what hooks up to the LL series fans, right? The LL RGB fans, the Lighting Node Pro or whatever.
Yeah, I mean it's all part of their RGB ecosystem.
Watch my video on the LL series RGB fans that I posted a couple months back. I briefly go into some detail about the Lighting Node Pro and how to hook it up and connect it all. That's all I can really say until, I come into your house and look at it myself. But good luck. Pop, Mr. Shepherd, $5. I hope Kyle enjoyed my mug. Mail/mail time. Mail as in someone with a wiener / mail as in, envelopes being sent to someone.
Just
time.
Checking the mail?
Mail/mail time. I have not checked my P.O. box yet. I probably haven't checked it in like months, which is really bad. Bad on me. But I haven't
checked it since before the last Awesome Hardware, so.
Yeah, and now when I see that something's been sent from UPup, I will know that it's a mug. Thank you. I'm sure it's a great mug. Can't wait to drink out of it. Fred Rant, $20. If Kyle has change in his pocket, does it make it bitcoins? Haha. See what you did there.
Because you're
Yep. Bitwit Kyle to Bitcoin. Sorry, could not resist it. Yeah, obviously. I mean, how could you not? It was the best joke that I will ever hear in my life.
I think your cryptocurrency should be called Bitwan.
Bitwan?
I don't know. Because it's a money. It starts with W, BW. I don't know. Okay.
Oh, I thought you meant like Juan, like the Mexican guy's name.
No, not like Juan.
I'm like Bitwan.
Juan.
I'm like, what are you trying to say, Paul?
And
about me and my people.
You're not even.
Why is the white man coming in here into my house?
You're like Asian.
Calling me Juan.
You're like white and Asian.
You don't tell me what I am.
Mexican.
Oh, I see. So now you're defining me based on my culture, based on my people.
Exactly. I just agree. I don't know.
just nodded.
Yes,
yes, colored man, you were correct. All right.
Least racist.
Thanks, Fred. Stephen Hill, $50.
Oh, Stephen.
Thanks, Stephen.
Love you, Stephen.
I'm terrified if my 1080 ever dies on me with the current prices, knocking on wood like crazy. Happy New Year. Ended up getting a new pup.
Oh,
I hope y'all are well. Hopefully it wasn't Pup Shepherd. That'd be a totally different story. But
interesting.
Congratulations on your new puppy, and happy holidays. I guess that's.
And I think if your 1080 has been fine up till now, it'll still be fine.
Yeah.
It takes a lot to really kill a functional graphics card.
That's true. Nowhere near irrelevant.
All right. Andres Rivero. $10. Threadripper 2nd Gen comes in 2018-2019. Will it run on the same Threadripper 4 boards available now? Ryzen has been confirmed to be compatible for Ryzen 2nd Gen. What about Threadripper? Honest opinion, please.
I think it will.
I mean, I would guess yes. Like if I had to just make a choice right now, if you're like, all right, choose yes, it will be compatible, no, it won't, I would say yes. If I was giving you a percentage, I'd say 60-70% yes. That's
60-70?
Like I'm 60-70% yes.
That doesn't
be
add
backwards
to 100, Paul.
But still a decent chance that. Because it's main. I mean, it's high end. It's a high end platform, and that also might be derivative somewhat of where Epic goes and their server line, because it's the same socket that their server use and that server use. So I'm sure that will have an impact on it.
They can do something similar, like what they're doing with Ryzen 2nd Gen. Mainstream is that they'll have a new socket for their high end desktop platform that would still be compatible with old first generation Threadripper and vice versa, but maybe you'll get a couple additional features with the newer platform. You know what I mean? That might sort of or convince some people to switch over or to upgrade or to buy into X499 or whatever they want to call it. But AMD so far has been showing us that they are super open to
they like the backwards compatibility.
Yeah,
which is good. And it's a good distinction between them and Intel, and it's one of the things that Intel gets people give Intel shit for, and so it's definitely something that AMD is very smart in saying, like, hey, we offer backwards compatibility, so ha ha ha.
Heck yeah.
All right, thanks for the question though.
Hayden Pascoe, 10 Australian, I think.
I believe, yes.
Had 2 questions. First, I'm planning on getting an Acer XB271HU and also a high-end card like a 1080 Ti. Should I get the 1080 Ti now or wait for Volta? Get the 1080 Ti. Well, hold on. Second monitor graphics card first. Only money for one at the moment. Depends on what you have now. I mean, are you running integrated graphics? Because then the monitor is kind of a waste. Or do you have something that could at least run, you know, reasonably well on that panel? XB27 is a 27-inch G-Sync display with
G-Sync 2560 by 1440, 165. Well, 144 hertz with overclocking up to 165.
Yeah. So honestly, right now is not the best time to buy a GPU, especially in the high end. Don't buy a high end GPU right now. You're paying like 50% over MSRP, or more.
Yeah.
Or well more, way more. So I would hold off on that unless you absolutely need it right now, but most people don't. If you're just like looking to scratch that itch, then buy the monitor, because the monitor pricing is probably not going to change much over the next few months.
Yep.
And at the very least, like the GPU pricing is so high right now, you would think that maybe the only place for it to go is back down at a certain point when supply goes back up or something like that, or demand goes down a little bit. But yeah, don't buy a GPU right now. Do not do it. Automatic Matt, $5.
Hey Matt.
Hey guys, any idea when 1080s will be less than $800? Trying to build an HTPC gaming machine for my barracks room. Dude,
don't know.
No,
sorry.
Clue. We don't have that insider information.
Yeah.
I wish we did.
If you really need a graphics card for a build right now, the best option we can recommend is to keep follow your favorite GPU manufacturers on Twitter and that kind of thing. Tweet them and ask them like when they have new shipments coming in, because when EVGA dumps 200 new graphics cards on Newegg is when you'll have maybe a few hours to go in there and buy one at MSRP or maybe slightly above. Newegg sometimes overprices cards, but yeah, we're all kind of in the same boat that you are, because we would like graphics cards prices to come down as well, even though we don't necessarily need new graphics cards because we have some graphics cards. We like to talk to you guys about graphics cards.
It's hard to recommend
in building computers, and it's hard to say, look,
building.
Here's this computer I built. It's only $2,000. It has a GTX 1060.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, what? No, that's crappy.
You don't like it. That ain't good. But good luck on that. Vortigon 1, 5 Australian. Love you guys, even if you don't like my sweet design for the baby oil t-shirt.
Oh, well, we may have liked it.
Maybe we just prefer the real thing.
Willing to print them is it's got to go beyond like.
It's true. Thank you very much for Vortigon. Daniel Hood, $5. Thank you for all your hard work. Thank you for your support.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Daniel.
Appreciate it. Dingo on my 40, $5. Welcome back.
Yay.
Miss you guys. Like all your videos you uploading during CES 8++. I want to see some bloopers.
Oh man.
Every video
are you doing
I
a blooper
upload
reel?
is a blooper. No, I wasn't really planning on it, and I don't know if I'm gonna go back.
Did you do a CES show floor video?
No.
Wow.
Nope.
Neither did I.
I just did.
I left early.
Booths.
I left a little early from CES on Thursday night, so I didn't go to the show floor. So.
I went to the show floor once for like 1 hour.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I have the rest of the day to potentially walk around, see everything. I was so spent. I was just so tired. I was like, and I still had more stuff to shoot back at the hotel room, like my voiceover and stuff. So I was like, I'll just watch the LG OLED tunnel on YouTube.
Yeah,
I don't need to see it in person.
It's the same thing as being there.
Now I wish I had seen it.
Yeah.
It was pretty awesome. Victorous 22, 10 New Zealand?
New Zealand.
New Zealandans?
I don't know what they're called in
New Zealanders.
New Zealand.
New Zealand dollars.
New Zealanders.
New Zealand bucks is probably the official name. Jesus! America's internet sucks.
Amen.
Oh, I thought you were going to go all religious on us. I'm from New Zealand. Haha! Figured that out. And I have 1,000 megabits per second down and 1,000 megabits per second up unlimited for $110 per month.
Well, there are places in America where you can get that kind of service.
Yeah.
It's mainly where Google Fiber was deployed. And it's actually cheaper than what you're paying for a gigabit both ways.
Oh, yeah.
But you have to be lucky enough to be somewhere where Google Fiber is deployed. And that's pretty limited right now. We're like Kansas and... Yeah. It's like Kansas and a couple other places. I forget. I don't live there, so I don't care.
I hate Kansas. Dr. B,
thank you,
1900. $5. Tell your sister that jelly is made with fruit. Jellyfish are gelatinous, so she has to call them sea jellos.
Sea jellos.
That's the logic checks out.
That makes sense to me. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Jellyfish, and that also makes them
jellos.
Also makes them seem more delicious. Next time I see a sea jello at the beach, I'm just gonna go.
Just take a big old bite.
Big old bite.
You a sea jello.
I hope it's cherry flavored.
It's alive. Literally. Shane P. $5. I am rocking the Z95 i5 4690K mostly for gaming. When do you think I should upgrade? I was thinking Ryzen 2, or should I wait longer?
Ryzen 2 might be a good potential. Yeah. I mean, you got a decent setup right now.
Yeah.
4690K is a very solid gaming chip, especially if you got it overclocked a little bit.
Although I heard Z97, that platform is not getting support for all the Spectre and Meltdown updates.
Really?
Yes.
That's stupid.
Yeah. It's one of the bullet points in my article for my half of the show.
Well then.
We don't know.
You're being left behind.
We don't know if you guys are going to be shit out of luck or if they're planning to go back that far and beyond. We don't really know. But right now your system is vulnerable and there's no patch in sight for you. So maybe that's enough.
That might impact your decision.
Maybe that's enough to upgrade sooner than later. But Ryzen
I would wonder if motherboard manufacturers individually would be like. Would do updates themselves? Maybe I'm not sure.
Maybe,
but yeah, that's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
Overall, the Ryzen 2, when it does launch, March-April timeframe this year, would probably be a decent upgrade for you because you could go from a quad core without hyper-threading up to like a 6 or an 8 core with multi-threading.
Yeah. March-April will be Ryzen 7, right? They'll be launching that first.
I don't know if they got any specifics as far as what chips they'll launch in what order. I mean, if they do it in the same way that they launched the original Ryzen, then yeah, they would start with Ryzen 7, 2800X, and...
Really? I think I got that slide. I mean, it was a public slide. They were like, you can use this in your video, but I remember like the timeline or whatever. It was like Ryzen 7, then Ryzen 5, then the Ryzen 5 APUs, then the Ryzen 3, and then Ryzen 3 APUs.
That's also possible.
Something like that.
I could just be not recalling that immediately right now.
Or I've just leaked a bunch of NDA info and AMD will never work with me again.
No one tell AMD. Everyone shh.
Signing off.
Shh. No.
Commit tech industry seppuku. All right. Thievy Chow!
Thievy Chow!
Put the flag down! I've missed you, Thievy.
Oh.
I've missed you a lot. You guy! Missed a few weeks. Oh, Thievy was completely out of the loop. I'm sorry, Thievy.
Oh, yeah.
We should have updated you personally. I get it. Holiday, CES, etc. Welcome back. Wait, I don't even know how to read this last part.
Enjoy your beers. It's backwards.
It's backwards. How did you pick up that so fast?
I'm dyslexic.
You're a dyslexic motherfucker. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Stevie.
First time it benefited me.
It's been too long.
Thank you, Stevie.
It's come full circle. All right, Christian T. 50 Dick. No, DKK. What is that?
Democratic Korea of Congo.
Korean coins with a K. At any rate, thanks for the 50 things. Considering upgrading
it's Danish krona.
Obviously Danish. Ooh, I could go for a Danish strudel. I don't know what the hell's Danish and delicious. Considering upgrading to a 1050 Ti, however, I'm not sure this would be an upgrade going from a GTX 670 2GB. Cheers.
670.
It would definitely be an upgrade in power efficiency.
Yeah.
You might see around the same performance, so that wouldn't be huge. I would say a 1060 6GB at least. I mean, triple that frame buffer. Because if you just, and 1060s, you know, they're not super great mining cards. I mean, they're not like amazing mining cards, so their price hasn't been affected quite as much as some of the higher end stuff.
They're still all sold out.
They're still all sold out though, so maybe maybe not the best, best time to upgrade.
Terrible time to buy any.
It really is.
Card right now.
It really is a bad time to upgrade. It's like the absolute worst. I've never seen it this bad. So patience is virtue. Suzot.
What?
Suzot. That's how you pronounce that name. $5. Okay. Thank you, Suzot. If people want to go with the used market instead of paying inflated prices, what cards should people be looking for? That's like saying, what kind of car should you drive? Get whatever card you think is going to be able to run the games that you want to play at the frame rates and performance that you want to play them at. Oh, Jesus. $400 for a 1060?
These are sold directly by Newegg, too. Newegg is just directly selling them at this price.
And it's a 3 gigabyte. It's a 3 gigabyte 1060 going for $400. What is Amazon selling it for?
Probably the same.
Holy shit. Do not buy any GPUs right now. Are 1050 Ti's being affected as much?
Everything from what I heard.
Dude, this literally happened like overnight.
Well, no, it was while we were gone at CES.
I know, but it just, for me, like, since we were at CES, it just came back and it just got fucked on. That's crazy. All right, but those are all the questions that you guys had for this half of the show.
It's $1050 for $135.
That's not too bad.
That's $30 more than it should be.
Yeah. It just doesn't seem as much because it's already at a low price to begin with, but doesn't mean it hasn't inflated.
1050 Ti 180.
They're usually around 150.
Yeah.
Cray. We have some Johnson shout-outs for y'all.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. I've got one. Johnson to Jed. Good old Jed. CPU cooler shirt. Thank you, Jed.
Matt from Canada. Got the mouse pad. Thank you very much. And a Johnson to you, Matt. Jed gets a double Johnson.
Jed, double Johnson!
Jed's from Texas. He also got the gaming desk mat.
Nice.
The big long one.
David got David, sorry. BIOS Flasher shirt, Evolution shirt, a Sword Fight shirt, and a Bitwit white logo Navy Tri-Blend shirt.
Nice.
Holy crapola. Thanks,
Thomas David. From Texas got the Thumbscrew Gray logo. The pullover, the hooded sweatshirt. Great. It's great for the Texas winter.
Bronson from Laguna Niguel, California, our own backyard.
Nice.
Evolution shirt. Thank you very much, sir.
And one last one from Dennis.
Denise.
Denise. From Dennis, Florida gets double Johnson.
I made you call him Denise.
Denise. Got the Tri-Blend T-shirt as well as a woman's T-shirt. Can't forget those ladies, y'all.
It is Denise.
All right.
Okay.
So, guys, that's going to wrap it up for my half of the show. It has been roughly 1 hour. It is now 7 o'clock. We're going to switch over to Kyle's half.
Yep.
So, I'm going to update my link in the description. So, check the link in the description to go over to Kyle's half.
Do it!
It's on Bitwit.
Do it!
And we'll be right back.
Yeah!
So thanks for watching. Hit the thumbs up button. And if you're watching on Twitch, stay with us. We'll continue to stream.
Stay with us.
All right. Bye, guys.
Someone on life support.